Okay, today I am going to attempt to make a pie crust that I saw Brenda Gantt make. Someone, when she was visiting Mark Lowry, they taught her how to make this pie crust. And the name of it is Pie Paws Pie Crust. I think Mark Lowry's neighbor made a pie with this, and it looks so simple. So let me tell you, we're starting off with 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, and to that we're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1/2 cup of oil, and you know, I watched them make this in the pie pan that they were going to cook it in the pie dish. But I'm going to use this for something else instead of a pie. So let's just see. And then the recipe calls for 3.5 tablespoons of milk. Now I'm going to be honest with you. If this pie doesn't work, this pie crust, it's my fault, because I knew I had bought milk. Went and opened my refrigerator and there's no milk. You know, I'm used to it just being Harold and me, and I don't drink milk, but I had 1/2. So what I did, I used 2 tablespoons of 1/2 and a tablespoon of 1.5 tablespoons of water. And I thought, well, that's gonna be like milk. So we're gonna see. You know, you just make do with what you have. And you just stir this up. I mean, this is the easiest thing in the world if I don't mess it up with that 1/2, and I don't think I will. Harold said, well, there's only one way to find out. And if it is too sticky, you add a little bit more milk, or if it's too thin, you'd add more flour. Well, I want you to look. I think this is just about perfect. See that? And what I'm going to do with this is I am going to put a little flour down. Let me get some and sprinkle it. I want to put a lot. But I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do and hope it turns out. When I was in Nashville a week ago with Darian and Brandon and Harold and Angela, we were doing some work for y'all tea, and we ate brunch at a place called Milk and Honey, and the wait was a little while, so Darian went to the bakery part and he came back with a paper sack, and it had some homemade Pop-Tarts in it. At first I said, oh, I don't want one. And then I took a bite, and oh my goodness, they were delicious. So I thought, I'm gonna have to try to make some homemade Pop-Tarts. And I was gonna make them with just one of those refrigerated pie crusts. And if you remember, I used one of them. I can't even remember what I made the other day where I used one. But I did. And so, trying to get this as thin as I can where I can still pick it up. I don't know. I better put some more flour under there or it's gonna make a mess. But y'all, I can already tell that this is gonna be a delicious pie crust. It's perfect. Let me just do half at a time. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just cut this in little small, like a 3x5 rectangles, the size of a Pop-Tart, and we're just gonna see. I'm making it without knowing if it's going to turn out. But you don't want this too thick, for sure. I think that may work right there. Okay. If I can get 2 out of here, that would be great. I'm getting a pizza cut. All right, let's see. Pull this out, and this, okay. For my first time, I'm having to experiment. That, I'll just show you. All right, let me get something so I can lift that easier before I put my, oh yeah, before I put the strawberry in it. That's gonna work. Let me get my strawberry jam. This came from Ponchatoula, Louisiana. Brenda Smith. So I'm gonna put some right in the middle. Might have put a bit too much, but we'll find out. I won't put as much in this one. I'm only going to do, well, I shouldn't have even put one on that. Okay, now I'm gonna put this on top. You see? And then I'm going to take a fork that I got right here, and I'm just going to crimp the edges. I'm only going to do one before I want to see if it's going to work. And if it does, then I'm going to make more. I think it's going to work, but since it's my first time, okay. I'm going to put it on my cookie sheet that I have some parchment paper. And then I have a little egg wash. I just scrambled up an egg, and I'm going to take my brush, and I'm just going to paint over the top of it. It'll give it a pretty golden finish. Okay, now I have preheated my oven to 400 degrees, and I'm going to cook it for about 10 minutes and check it, and I'll be back to let you know. I made 4. 3 of them were made with the pie crust that I made from scratch. I didn't make it thin enough, but they still, I'm sure they're delicious. I made 1 from a Pillsbury pie crust, and you can tell it looks better, but you know, taste is going to be the main thing. Now I let them cool. Then I mixed some powdered sugar. I didn't measure because I knew I just had 4, and a little bit of the half and half, and a little bit of vanilla. And what I'm going to do is just drizzle it. Okay. I don't think I could make a living decorating cakes and pies. I've never been able to do that. Okay. And Griffin asked me, was I going to put sprinkles on them? He said, if you don't put sprinkles on it, it's really not a Pop-Tart like I like. So I'm going to put some sprinkles. Y'all, I don't like sprinkles. I know that I may be in the minority, but I don't like them. So what I'm going to do on some of them is I have this colored sanding sugar, and I'm just gonna put, I gotta be careful because it'll really come out. See, doesn't do much, but I really hope that they're going to be good. I'll tell you what. We'll find out. I'm not going to get one of the ones that they would want, but we're going to cut one here.
Is it hot?
No, it's not. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Better than Kellogg's?
Probably better than Kellogg's. Not as good as we had in Nashville. But for my first time, probably should have put a little bit more strawberry filling in it. But you learn. And I saw that I can do it. And I also saw how easy it was to make that pie crust. I'll be making that for my pies from now on. But thank y'all for watching me, even when I make the biggest messes. I might as well tell you, I burned my finger taking these out of the oven. And it really hurt. And it slipped off of my pot holder and picked up that cookie sheet right on the end. But I went and I put some cream on it that I got when I had radiation. And it took most of the burn out. Now I washed up some dishes and putting it in that water, it hurt. But you know, that's just life. Things happen. Thank y'all for joining me. Be salt and light, and I'll be back with something in a few days.